Caleb was just an ordinary programmer. One day, his boss personally selected him for a top-secret experiment. His task was to test the latest artificial intelligence the company had developed. After meeting Ava for the first time, Caleb excitedly tried discussing the technology behind her design with his boss. But instead of answering, the boss casually threw out a strangely personal question.
How do you feel about it?
Late that night, Caleb suddenly woke up from his sleep. To his surprise, the TV in his room was somehow displaying Ava's surveillance feed. Watching her sit alone inside the locked laboratory, he couldn't help but feel sorry for her. Just then, the entire facility suddenly lost power. As alarms blared through the building, the electronic locks on the doors immediately activated. Luckily, the power returned a few moments later. The boss explained that the lockdown system existed for security purposes. Whenever the power failed, the entire facility automatically sealed itself shut. Otherwise, anyone could simply cut the electricity and break into the most advanced laboratory in the world. During their second meeting, Ava was noticeably more proactive. Completely relaxed, Caleb opened up about his personal life. He admitted he was basically a stereotypical introvert who had never even had a girlfriend. When Caleb talked about how his parents died in a car accident when he was a child, Ava showed an incredible level of empathy. As the conversation continued, the dynamic between them quietly shifted. Without realizing it, Ava had stopped being the one answering questions. Now she was the one asking them. Then, out of nowhere, Ava suddenly asked him something deeply personal.
Is Nathan your friend?
Yeah, I hope so.
A good friend.
The question caught Caleb completely off guard. After all, there were cameras inside the room. His boss was probably watching everything live. But before Caleb could answer, the power suddenly went out again. The door locked shut, and the surveillance system temporarily failed. This time, Ava slowly stood up. The innocent expression on her face disappeared instantly. Instead, she looked strangely cold and unsettling. Then she softly whispered to Caleb,
You're wrong. He isn't your friend. You shouldn't trust anything he says.
Power restored.
And if we made a list of books or works of art which we both know?
Less than a second later, Ava switched right back to her sweet and harmless expression. Caleb froze in confusion. Was this also part of the experiment? Later that evening during dinner, the boss suddenly exploded with anger at Kyoko, the robotic housemaid. The scene made Caleb deeply uncomfortable. After Kyoko left the room, the boss complained that the power outages had been happening more and more often lately. Then he casually asked Caleb what he and Ava had talked about during the blackout. But Caleb chose not to tell him. The doubts in his mind were growing stronger by the minute. Why did Ava seem to hate the man who created her? Were the blackouts really technical failures? Or was the boss intentionally staging them? Caleb decided he needed to uncover the truth himself. By their third meeting, the atmosphere between them had become much lighter. Ava mysteriously told Caleb she wanted to show him something. Then she asked him to close his eyes. She spent a long time choosing carefully, almost as if she were trying to figure out his personal taste. When Caleb finally opened his eyes, he saw Ava wearing a dress. For the first time, she truly looked like a real human girl. A faint trace of shyness crossed her beautiful face. Caleb's heart instantly started racing, and he quickly tried to play it cool, but his awkward act couldn't fool an AI. After quietly studying his reaction, Ava directly asked him a bold question.
Are you attracted to me?
What?
This round clearly belonged to Ava. Caleb had no choice but to admit it to himself. He had genuinely started developing feelings for an AI. But Caleb wasn't stupid. After thinking carefully about everything, he quickly realized he had been manipulated by his boss from the very beginning. Part of Ava's programming was specifically designed to make him emotionally attached to her. He hadn't been chosen for the experiment because he was exceptionally talented. He had been chosen because he was exactly the type of man most vulnerable to affection from a gentle woman. But what exactly was the boss trying to prove with all of this? Was he testing whether humans could truly fall in love with machines? During their fourth meeting, the power suddenly failed once again while they were talking. This time, Caleb confronted Ava directly. He asked whether she believed the blackouts were secretly staged by the boss. Maybe he wanted to observe her true behavior when the cameras went offline. But Ava revealed something Caleb never expected. The blackouts were actually caused by her. It turned out Ava used electromagnetic induction charging. By reversing the electrical flow inside her body, she could temporarily overload the system and trigger a power outage. Back in his room later that night, Caleb accidentally noticed something strange. His boss had quietly entered Ava's bedroom.